Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I am once again simulcasting on Rumble and Utizzle, and I appreciate everyone who's joining me tonight. It's better late than never, but I have been cogitating on quite a few things, and I got a picture here. This is the staff of the White House the day Donald Trump came to visit. That was what he was facing. Look at those happy faces. Yeah, they have been after him since before day one. And they have never changed their attitude towards him. It's always been hostile. And it's not just hostile against him, it's hostile against us. But anyway, on my thumbnail, the National Guard has been deployed. These specious little judges have been swept aside. And Donald Trump is going to faithfully execute the laws of the United States. And we also have a Epstein Lago link. What? What could that mean? Well, we're going to talk about that, because it's all tied into an intricate web. But what do? I play videos while people get settled in with a cup of coffee, a cold brouhaha, or whatever is their want. Maybe a glass of Merlot, I don't know. But anyway, I'll be playing some videos for you while y'all get settled in. Then we'll be like butter and get on a roll.
The walls feel like they're closing in.
But as the walls close in around the president,
Donald Trump feels the walls closing in.
This is a guy who feels like the walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in on him.
because the
murder of Charlie Kirk was not a political act. The murder of Charlie Kirk was not a political act.
You want to know what it is. The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
And he's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency
might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. So nice to see you all this evening. I hope everybody's doing okay. And I hate to rattle your cage with that shrieker, but it kind of encapsulates what we're dealing with. A bunch of disturbed individuals that have a heart full of hate. How do you get rid of that? Just like these characters at the White House that I was talking about at the beginning. Some very familiar faces. Some of them come on NBC, MSNBC, that is. They've got the control, or had the control, of the government and the media. So we're wresting it from them. Hi, Bill. How are you doing? Melinda, nice to see you. Bubba, nice to see you. Sissy, Rubberto, Sherry, Robin, Melinda, Debbie, hi, Ann. Wayne's here. How you doing, Wayne? Let's see, Rain's here. Elva, Rebecca. Nice to see you. Miss Mindersue is here. All right, we're getting everybody coming in. Randy's here. Nice to see you all, folks. Todd's here. Darla's here. Do we have two Debbies tonight? Probably so, yeah. Probably so. Flannel Cheese, nice to see you. All right. Well, Cole, nice to see you. Yeah, we got a favorable ruling from the Ninth Circuit Court about the about dispatching the National Guard. Hi, Choosy, how you doing? Marla, nice to see you. Araceli. Wow, we got everybody rolling in tonight. Everybody's rolling in. So I'm sure they've already hit the ground or are very close to it. And I've been watching the attorney, Andrew Branca. He's going to have a special on it tomorrow about the ruling. And he's been over it many times, but you have to repeat for people to get in there. I've got another picture, not only just these freaks you see here, but do you remember this photo is a famous picture? Staff at the White House. Look at the one in the background crying. They've never gotten over it, and every fiber of their being. Hi, Patricia. Every fiber of their being has been dedicated to disrupting the Trump agenda for years. That is what they've been doing. Because they're on the side of the spiritual powers with which we are doing battle with. What do I want to use for my background? I don't want to leave them faces up. I'm going to leave this one up. I like this one, battle damage assessment. Whenever we have victories like this, which we knew was coming because nothing can stop. What? Nothing can stop what is coming, folks. There it is. There it is again. I went in my archives and got some other things, blasts from the past. Like this no kings business. The big flop was they tried that. Tried calling Trump a dictator. Where's that? On my thumbnail, I've got a picture from almost, I think, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, where he's dressed like Santa and says, I'm not a dictator. I'm just someone with a very long naughty list. Here's what I put on my thumbnail. Right here, folks. And I put checking it twice. How many times have I said that in the past? He's making a list and checking it twice. And that was part of the reason why things didn't happen at the snap of a finger, was because we had to flush them out. And we are flushing them out in every facet of the government and the military. And we're also finding out how a lot of these state-run fiefdoms operate. Illinois has been a bastion of, they had the Daily Machine, right, in Chicago. Way back in the 60s, 1960s, when they threw the election to Kennedy over Richard Nixon. That was the most famous public disclosure of political machines being discussed in public. But anyway, so the National Guard is free to start their deployment. We'll see what kind of action we get from that. And like I said, the dictator talk was something that was 3 years ago. And they just renamed it Kings. Now they're trying to rename it No Tyrants instead of No Kings. But they keep trying to rebrand themselves. They're even trying to take over our Pepe the Frog. That's been a conservative thing for I don't know how long. But anyway, we're constantly chipping away at them. I had this report from about, I don't know, maybe 4 days ago, right here. 4 days ago. Again, MSNBC, the propaganda arm of the DNC. Donald Trump's priorities of prosecuting his political enemies and sending the military and ICE into immigrant communities have translated into a new low in his overall approval rating, according to the Associated Press. So they got a picture of Trump. He's looking mean. And I didn't put it up because I had so much stuff, and it's just a bunch of horse hockey. But, hey, I'm glad I saved it in my studio because I have a report from Harry Enton about, well, let's just get it straight right now about Trump's approval rating. Y'all are making these claims. That's been up for 3 or 4 days. Just slopped out there as factual. Nobody challenged it. I didn't even bother looking in the comments on something like that. Let me see. Here we go. Here's Harry. And as I said, Harry Anton's presence on CNN, I believe, is part of the Truth and Reconciliation Act. They got to play ball. But here's the numbers, okay? Juxtapose this versus what I just showed you from MSNBC's propaganda they put up a couple of days ago.
That's exactly right. Turns out shutdowns are different the second time around when it comes to Donald Trump. Take a look here. You know, we speak about Donald Trump shutdowns, net approval rating. We're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. The shutdown was eating into his popular support. It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point in terms of his popular support. So the bottom line is this. The first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018-2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all. There's no real reason Donald Trump might say, at least when it comes to popular support, I want to get out of this shutdown.
What about the question of blame?
Yeah, okay, what about the question of blame? Okay, you see here, you see Donald Trump's net approval rating was down 2018 to 2019. You talk about 2025 as net approval rating is up. It comes down to the blame game, a game I loved to play when I was younger. Blame Trump for the shutdown, a great deal. In 2018/2019, 61%, more than 3 in 5 Americans blame Trump a great deal for that particular shutdown. You come over to this side of the screen, look at this. It's a different world. It's a different world. 48% of Americans blame Trump a great deal for this particular shutdown. So it's more than 3 in 5 back in 2018/2019. It's less than half, a drop of 13 points. Again, it's no real wonder that Donald Trump at this point, looking at the shutdown, says, you know what, it's not actually harming me politically, in large part because he's getting less of the blame.
And he's doing things differently during this shutdown.
Yes, exactly right. You know, we talk about Donald Trump and you say, okay, he wants to be a consequential, influential president. Well, if the legislative process is basically freezed up, you know, on Capitol Hill, you may say, well, then he can't actually get legislation through. But that's not how Trump is governing in this term. We've spoken about this over and over and over again. He's using his pen. He's using executive orders. Trump executive orders at this point of presidency. In 2017, it was just 50. Look at this, already 210 executive orders signed by Donald Trump during this presidency. That is the most in a year. You have to go all the way back since Franklin Delano Roosevelt to find a president who signed more executive orders in a year than Donald Trump has already signed this time around. And remember, John Berman, we still have 2 months to go in this year, so it wouldn't be surprising to me if he signs even more.
Yeah, it seems to be saying, Congress, you don't want to do something?
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Harry Anton, thank you.
Thank you.
Ha ha ha, yeah. Just like him making sure the military's paid for, right? And what other tricks is he going to pull out of his sleeve on this shutdown? He's going to be continuing to get rid of these plum jobs that they've put up. These U.S. Aid and PBS. He's going to keep slashing liberal programs that have been around for decades. I'm just looking at chats real quick. I never did get music in my background. I think I'm going to do that. But anyway, so let's go through some of the things. You know, we have talked about it many times. What they find out about Lago and Epstein? Well, we've been talking about it for years. I played the press conference with Alexander Ocasio, who was Trump's labor secretary. He was appointed. He was suggested out of a pool of people, much like the ones I had on the screen earlier. Trump came to Washington. He didn't have a kludge of friends, a clique of people to support him. All right, he came in office and they went with supposedly experienced people. Well, how many of you all have heard that Alexander Ocasio, who was fired, he resigned because he got in trouble for giving Epstein a sweetheart plea deal. And it pretty much ended his career in the federal government. And Donald Trump had a press conference letting him relieve himself of his duties. How many of you know that that person has been testifying in front of Congress? Be honest. How many of you knew that former Labor Secretary under Donald Trump is testifying in front of Congress? Hi, Patricia. And what was his testimony? That he never talked to Donald Trump about Epstein. He never heard anything about Trump being involved with Epstein. And he gave that sweetheart deal because the intelligence communities were pushing him to, and they fibbed to him about his he was supposed to be continuously incarcerated for a period of time, but he ended up going to some kind of halfway house that was very quickly set up by a corporation. And the corporation that set up Jeffrey's halfway house had ties to Jeffrey. This stuff is bombshell, as they always say. Anything about Trump is bombshell, bombshell, bombshell. For 10 years, we've been hearing about their bombshells that aren't even firecrackers. But wait a minute. Wait, there's more. Who was one of his attorneys? Jeffrey Epstein's attorneys. See if anybody guesses. Hi, Stanton. How you doing? Who was one of Jeffrey Epstein's attorneys? During this time that he was doing his special illegal plea agreement, that's what the end result was. He was declared illegal. He was rearrested. But during this time, he got his illegal plea deal. And while he was, air quotes, serving his sentence, who was his attorney? Or, more accurately, one of his attorneys, but a very important one. Who knows? Melinda said Dershowitz. Bill said Dershowitz. Well, yeah, Alan Dershowitz was one of his attorneys. Magistrate Judge Reinhardt. Reinhardt. Look it up. And who is that magistrate judge? Does anybody know what that magistrate judge is responsible for? A historic act. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to play a bunch of clips. I was going to put on my thumbnail that we've reached a new level, a new low in degeneracy. But I had to hurry up and get going live. I didn't want to change what I had. Melinda said, hi, Melinda says, causing Trump problems. Yeah, I would say definitely so. He is. I'll give it to the top of this, let's see, to 25-minute mark. I got 30 seconds. I think his first name is Andrew. No goggling. I got a lot of good video clips. While you're cogitating, all these no kings crowd. Here's something for you to put on your meta page. Chief Lion of the Farmaho tribe. Trump didn't lock you all down. Trump didn't force you to get something squirted into your veins. Trump didn't fire you if you didn't do it. Hi, baby nurse. How you doing? Which is AKA Colette. I don't know why I remember that. I can't remember swap names for squat, but I can now. Okay. Andrew Weissman, yes. Andrew Weissman is the magistrate judge who signed the search warrant on Mar-a-Lago. A former Epstein attorney. And he was just weeks before signing the warrant to go into Melania's bedroom and Barron's bedroom, and with the authorization to use deadly force. Weeks prior to that, he was handling Donald Trump's lawsuit against Hillary Clinton et al. In Florida for what they did with the Steele dossier and the Russia hoax. He was taken off that case by his supervising judge, Judge Middleton, and then assigned, I'm using air quotes, assigned to the Mar-a-Lago case, and Judge Middleton promptly dismissed Trump's lawsuit against Hillary Rottenham Clinton and started fining Trump's attorneys. But we got this Epstein connection right into the judiciary branch. And they were having those hearings today. Did anyone hear about that? Now, there, I've taken the first 20 minutes after all my intros and stuff, laying it out there, facts that are just facts of the damn matter. So anybody hollering, we want the Epstein files, well, you're getting them. They're letting them out in public hearings in Congress right now. Nobody's reporting it. But if I try to say something in comments on platforms where liberals roost, they just block me or delete me. They do the three monkey thing. We can't see, hear, speak no evil. Anyway, here's the determination of the Ninth Circuit being announced about the National Guard.
We're doing some breaking news that we want to bring to you coming out of Oregon, where a panel of judges at the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that the Trump administration can deploy Oregon National Guard troops to Portland.
Yeah, so, he's a dictator. He's going to have troops in the streets. All a bunch of exaggerated lies. But we know it's intricate web. Intricate web with international money, foreign money being involved, drug cartel money being involved. And we're going to see how this gels together. We know, like I played that clip of Trump saying they raided he said this yesterday. They raided my house because they thought I had stuff on them they wanted to get. Yeah, Ice, Ice baby. Now, Ice is going to be freed up. Freed up. So I'll look forward to hearing the analysis by Andrew Branca tomorrow. He'll be doing a morning show, and I encourage you all to subscribe and watch him because he tells it in layman's terms, and he also is a member of the Supreme Court Bar. Don't forget the Supreme Court Bar. So, let's see. I was going to focus on the degeneracy. I mean, there's so much of it going around. Look at this. What do their parents think of them? This was Citizen Free Press put this up. Seen at Denver, no kings. There they are. Charlie Kirk had it coming. Here we are. Here we go. Here it is, isolated. What do you think the chances are these people work for the government? Especially the ones on the right. Charlie Kirk had to come and change my mind. What does the sign say there? Denver Communists. Here's their T-shirts. Politicians don't die like they used to. How disgusting is that? Make assassinations great again. These people are dangerous and violent. Now, somebody going to say that I said something mean about another group? When I show things like this, people are walking around in public wearing that I'm doing something wrong? That's why I show that screamer every so often. Just keep people, keep their feet on the ground as to what they're dealing with these people. That one I showed you, I didn't want to show the video again. I might take a clip of that video where she's pointing at her neck, and it turned out she was a teacher. Well, she's not losing her job. Here, this is Citizens Free Press. Lucy was her name, right? Lucy has been cleared. I'm going to put that in one of the beginning montages, her hopping around pointing at her neck. She will keep her job influencing the views and thoughts of future generations. Taxpayers will pay for her to do so. Nathan Hale Elementary School, the little kiddies. Yesterday, I was made aware of an incident involving one of our teachers who participated in a community protest that was not affiliated with the Nathan Hale Elementary School District. During the event, tensions rose when individuals drove by the protest attempting to provoke the participants. In a moment of emotion, one of the teachers responded in a way that does not reflect the professionalism and respect we expect from our staff. While the incident took place off school grounds and outside of school hours, I have spoken directly with the teacher involved, and the matter has been addressed internally. We recognize that these are difficult times. I don't even want to read this garbage. She should be fired. Somebody with a mental illness exposed to children. This is Dawn Elise Gomez, principal, Nathan Hale Elementary School. Do I have a picture of her still in here? Or did I throw that out last night? Just a repugnant, dumpy-looking, violent individual. Well, it was the last night broadcast. I'll put the clips of her up in the future. No, they didn't do anything with her. She's staying exactly where she's at. Meanwhile, with these people working for school systems, pointing at their neck and wearing these offensive, grotesque, violent T-shirts, mocking the death of a innocent person. Here we got this. Citizen Free Press. Trump boards Air Force One quickly, using small stairs due to increased security measures. Yeah, because they found that tree stand, and who else knows what they've come across as far as a hazard or a danger. And then you've got Pritzker, Newscomb, all this trash, people who are supposed to be in positions of authority, spewing vitriol about Trump, calling him a dictator and a Nazi, dehumanizing Trump supporters. And they want this. They're stirring the pot. They want violence. This is Dan Bongino, I believe, talking about what they're going to do about that tree stand.
But we saw this disturbing thing, a hunting stand, right in the area of Palm Beach Airport, which would have had a clear shot at Air Force One. We can see it. What could you tell us about this, Dan?
Yeah, I was on the phone about this all day yesterday. It's interesting. When I got back from the mall, most of my you don't get the days off here. It's something you sign up for. So it's unfortunate sometimes we got to take care of these things. We wish they wouldn't happen. But here's what happens with this. Let me walk the American public through how this works. The FBI is not responsible, obviously, for the security plan of the president. That's the purview of the Secret Service. However, if the Secret Service finds something that they believe could be criminal, I want to emphasize it could be, we take over. We have what's called an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the Secret Service, where we will investigate after that. I was on the phone yesterday, back and forth with the D2, the Deputy Director over at the Secret Service, Matt Quinn, great guy. They were very concerned. Their security sweep discovered this hunting stand. The director Kash Patel was directly involved right away. I'm on the email chain with him. He ordered an immediate response. I believe we had our plane flown down there. This hunting stand was appropriately dismantled, it's being flown to our lab. I believe it's there right now. And all of the forensic tools we have, from digital tools to biometric tools, they are all going to be applied to try to find out who put this up there and why.
Mr. Deputy Director, big picture here, the snipers have become a problem. The first assassination attempt against the president, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the attempted assassination of our ICE officers, that's the new tool now. They're attacking from the top.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a new tool. It's an old tool that may be used more often by folks who realize that there's some tactical advantage to distance and cover. The Secret Service has had to make a lot of modifications, Lawrence, given that this tool was obviously used or attempted to be used multiple times. They've expanded their security perimeter, how they do. I'm very close friends with the director over there and the deputy director, and some of those modifications have been made. And I think you saw the modifications with the discovery of this hunting stand set up in the tree outside of West Palm Beach. But yeah, there's no room. This is a zero-fail mission, Lawrence. No time for a BS here. It's zero fail. You can't have a mistake here. It's just not. I haven't been a Secret Service agent and now an FBI agent and with the NYPD. I can tell you, this is one of those missions where there's no do-overs.
I'm glad they found.
Yeah, it's probably down to Marine Base in Quantico. They got a real top-notch analysis. They can go through anything down there. So the best you can get as far as forensics. But, you know, these people who who are pushing for this or mocking things. I cannot believe that woman wasn't fired. And these people that are pulling these stunts, they're getting exposed and pointed out. And there needs to be some action taken against them. Here is Trump. He's talking about this guy who's running for attorney general. Let me see if this is the right clip. Well, before I play him, I've got this one. I believe I've got one in here of Kane of Virginia making a mealy mouth. Let me see if this is the right one.
Is reportedly spending more.
Oh, this is about Oregon. Wait a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. Tim Kaine making mealy-mouthed excuses. I don't think I've got it. I left it in here. For this character who was saying his wish one of his political opponents would die and the children would die. What Trump says about him, I'm sure he means for everybody that we just seen, and more that I'll show you. What should happen to people like that? And justifiably so.
Jay Jones has repeatedly said that if he wins in Virginia, that he can't. Jay Jones. Virginia said.
Judge, you mean the one that wanted to kill somebody's children and kill somebody? You mean the animal that wanted?
I'm wondering if you have a response and if you're considering getting involved in that race.
Well, what is he saying?
He said in the debate on Thursday.
No, he's a third-rate intellect. He's a guy who I've never seen anybody say what he said, that he wanted to kill his opponent's children, he wanted to kill his opponent. No, I can't imagine anybody voting for Jay Jones. Look, you would think he's totally discredited. I would think he wouldn't even be allowed to do that. Anybody would be put in prison for what he said. So he can join the long list of attorney generals that have been suing and losing. But the people of this country want law, they want order, they want safety. They don't want to be mugged or raped or shot. And that's what we provide. We have tremendous numbers also. You see the crime numbers are coming.
Yeah, he should be put in jail. And at the very least, that woman should lose her job. Should lose her job. Here, we've had a number of people going around posting videos from this dopey No Kings crap. I got little snippets. Here they are. Would you like to kill Nazis with me? Of course, they act like Yahtzees, right? But then point the finger at others. A real brain surgeon, this guy.
Who are you going to kill?
Nazis.
Who do you define as a Nazi?
What do you mean? It's pretty...
In this context, who's a Nazi?
Stephen Miller's a Nazi.
So you're going to kill Stephen Miller? I don't know if that's something I'd say on.
And a dish rag on her head demon there. How could they expect to get a job anywhere or be anything? Here's some more. Where's this one? I'm not even sure where this one is. But yeah, they look harmless, right? They look harmless, but listen to what they say.
So this is your birthday, so you came out on your birthday, you thought it was important. Tell me why.
Absolutely, because I have two little boys who deserve a bright future of freedom and democracy. And this is a nightmare that I'm living in, and I'm here to make a difference and to be loud and proud. And there's no other way I'd want to celebrate my birthday than with my parents and my best friend fighting for our country.
So for a birthday present, what do you hope happens? You know, you wake up tomorrow morning.
I hope that I see the obituary that we're all waiting for tomorrow. That's what I hope for. Yeah.
you wishing that President Trump is dead?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you freak. She wishes Donald Trump was dead. That's what she wants for her birthday. That's what she wants for her birthday. Steve Bannon was on with Tucker Carlson. And this was on Ruski News right here. Steve Bannon warns that America is on the brink of a civil war, saying the divide between the two parties has become impossible to bridge. He claims the political establishment can't agree on anything from immigration to basic domestic policy, and the conflict is about to intensify. Bannon says tensions will rise fast, and the Trump administration is moving too slowly to arrest deep state officials. Well, is he going to take off like a rocket when he decides to do something? Has he got the pieces in place now? I think the decision about the National Guard is going to be appealed to the Supreme Court. So we might have to dribble through that. I don't know. But anyway, here's what Steve Bannon's got to say. What do you think? Timing is everything. Optics are important. We got one shot at this to do it in the most civil way possible. We can't jump the gun. But let me play what Bannon's got to say.
That's we're heading towards a civil war. I don't think there's any doubt. We looked at the indices out there. And these are unbridgeable divides right now and getting deeper. And the Democratic Party is getting more and more radical. Look, everything we're dealing with right now is about illegal aliens. Whether it's they want to spend $1 trillion on their health care, whether they're demanding a census that counts them for congressional races and for electoral college, whether it's the mass deportations that we're trying to get done in Portland, Chicago, Los Angeles. Everything's, if they don't have illegal aliens, if they don't have a foreign entity in here and folks in here, they don't have there's no way for them to put together the votes. They love democracy, but it's just the math doesn't work. You saw the Supreme Court today. You see these redistricting fights, and the redistricting fights are kind of like the kids in this chat room. If we had enough stones and urgency and maximalization strategy, the 21 would already be up on the table, right? We'd be now executing how you do it. Be supplicants and ask for forgiveness for people who are not worthy of us asking for forgiveness. And the fight is going to get more intense. The left is going to get more radical. They're going to go up more the escalatory ladder. Look, Mangini's a hero to them. You got to face and Mondami. He's a Marxist jihadist that's going to win, I don't know, by 15 points or so in New York City. Sadiq Khan. Everything they have is even more radical than you can anticipate. It's getting worse every day. They're not being resolved. There's nothing, and it's really nothing to debate. We have this chasm. And to me, it's the issue I have is that the Trump administration is, and Pam Bondi and the crew are not moving quickly enough. They had a thing today in the Oval, which was great, about stopping, violence in the streets. That's great, and I appreciate that. But we have to focus on the deep state. We have to focus on taking this apparatus apparatus. We only have a short window of time, I think, to be able to do this, and we're not prioritizing it, and we're not hiring enough U.S. attorneys to focus on it, and we're not getting that. If we don't get that done, these statistics we're putting out and the great job with Cash and people and Dan Bunch are doing about arresting bad guys is not going to matter, because you're going to have more bad guys later invited back in by these people. So now,
well, he's discounting the strides that have been made. And who is Steve Bannon? Steve Bannon was a advisor to Trump during the first administration, and he resigned or was let go probably a year into his first administration. And he's got the thing called the War Room. I don't think he's given enough credit for how far we've come, and that we're going through this step by step. We're taking apart their structure. And, nobody thought Comey would get arrested. Hey, for however the media is playing it, the bottom line is Trump had, his Justice Department had him indicted. He had to post bond to walk out of that courtroom. And now his attorney is being heavily scrutinized. James Comey's attorney. Now CNN frames it. Prosecutors go after James Comey's attorney, Patrick Fitzgerald. Now this is a CNN reporter with I think a mullet, Holmes Librand. So it's his perspective for whatever the hell that's worth. But anyway, that's Comey's attorney. And what the basis, Patrick Fitzgerald, the basic basis for the focus on this attorney is that he participated. He participated in leaking documents. Justice Department prosecutors are attempting to bring into court doubts that former FBI Director James Comey's lead defense lawyer can represent him fairly, given Comey's history being investigated in a new legal dispute in the case that Comey's team has already called an effort to defame. He's starting this article off, it's misdirection to me. But prosecutors suggested that Fitzgerald could have potential conflict and disqualification issue in the case because Comey may have used the attorney to disseminate classified material in 2017. And then right away he puts in an allegation Comey's attorney called provably false. Well, of course they're going to say that. Why don't you report the story? The story is that if he was participating in putting out, disseminating classified material, he's subject to be charged also. Why don't you tell the story like that? And what they're going to do is ask the court to go through all the paperwork with a unbiased team to see exactly what they've been handling and let the court decide whether or not he can still be Comey's attorney. And also, is he open for charges himself? There goes the attorney-client privilege. If he's involved in criminal activity along with Comey, there is no attorney-client privilege. So it's a big deal. And Bannon's talking about, well, we don't have enough prosecutors and this and that. Gavoya had a little section on it, Robert Gavoya. Trump DOJ fires deep state prosecutors in massive purge. the way the media has been putting it out there, this young lady who charged Comey, they were acting like she was pressured into doing it. She really didn't want to do it. Well, she did it, okay? And they're also cleaning out the Eastern District, I believe, of Virginia, of prosecutors. And a lot of these attorneys are going to stick their heads up and get their heads taken right off. And that needs to happen with some of these attorneys who are participating in this deep state shenanigans. Let me see. What is this? What's this one? FBI busts. Oh, yeah, I got this shit before it went live. FBI busts a massive Idaho gambling ring. Suspect dragged from a porta potty during the raid. There he is on the ground. Saying, I was reading the newspaper. What are y'all doing? I think he tried to hide in the porta potty and they caught him. But anyway, the FBI's all over the place. And Dan Bongino addressed that, how they're picking up the pace with the FBI. A lot of people are focused on ICE. ICE, what's ICE doing? ICE raids, protest ICE, do this against ICE. Well, while they're raising hell about ICE, the FBI is rocking and rolling. Listen to the numbers Dan Bongino puts out. And Steve Bannon said, well, this stuff isn't important. We got to get the top tier deep staters. Well, yeah, when the time is right. But if they're foot soldiers that can cause chaos and distract and do all kinds of things, they need to be taken out first. You need to take out their support groups. And that's what they're doing. Listen to the numbers he recites.
With regards to this crush and violent crime, whether it's in San Francisco, Chicago, any other major city. Early on, this is kind of the untold story of this op. I get appointed, announced in February, come in March, cash is there a little bit earlier. President brings us in early, and in essence, this is kind of the behind the scenes, guys. He says to us, you know, listen, I'm a builder. I'm in a lot of these big cities. He has just zero tolerance for violent crime. He just does. He drives around Washington, D.C. on these OTRs, off-the-record movements. He sees homelessness, crime. He can't stand it. He says, what do we got to do to fix this? And we basically lay out a bunch of things, and his answer is very simple. President's like, go get them, boys. Go get them. That was it. Like, you do what you have to do. So we got in there, Cash and I, and we brought in the best SACs, special agents in charge across the country, guys who had forgotten more about crime and enforcing it than most people ever know. They've done this their whole lives. One of them we pulled in from Phoenix. He had an amazing job out there. We said, hey, his name's Joe. I said, Joe, you tell me what we need to do to go get these demon savages off the street. Tell me what we need to do. We brought in a violent crime roundtable of the best crim agents in the country. We figured out a battle plan, how to kind of water balloon. You know, when you squeeze a water balloon, you get a bulge. How do we bulge agents here and then bulge agents there? And we cleaned up at the president's direction, the director and I, with the SACs and the agents in the field, around the country and made, get a load of this, guys. This is going to trip you out. 28,000 violent crime arrests in 2025, and the year's not even over. You say, well, what does that mean? Put it in comparison. Prior 3-4 years, the FBI under prior leadership had averaged about 16,000. We're at 28,000. 28,000. We're not even get cleaner.
Dan, the governor's going to push.
Do you know what kind of a societal impact for the good that would have that will have by getting almost double the amount of violent criminals off the streets? 15,000, 16,000 a year usually. They're already at 25,000. Dan Bongino's a deputy director. They've got thousands of FBI agents, thousands of them. And all of them cannot focus on deep state officials. Okay, that is top tier decision making. Okay, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Donald Trump. And you can't have thousands of them. You got to have them do something, and they're ready, willing, and able. A lot of guys and gals came back out of retirement because of the change for the better. They don't have to deal with corrupt leadership, and they're chomping at the bit. So Dan Bongino's taking care of the domestic stuff that is out of control, and you can bet that everyone that they get involved with that is not in this country legally is going to go straight to Tom Homan. So, yeah, this is a huge boon. And you stabilize society to the highest degree possible before you do something like a big move and start arresting top people. And that's exactly what the strategy is. Don't you all agree? Well, the Lord works in mysterious ways. We need the hand of God. Who would have ever thought that Trump would have gone through what he's gone through, even ever got in the office in the first place? Remember this guy? I showed you the video yesterday. Leftist terrorists in Chicago. These ICE agents got against SHOT and wiped out. Remember I played that for y'all? A 17-second clip. Well, he's been identified. Right here. Let's see what happens with him. Who is it? Ash Farms. Did you see this guy? His very, very greedy mole gave him away to me. Maybe Kristi Noem can advise him on removal. Libs of TikTok. Breaking. The Chicago protester who called to shoot ICE agents has been identified as a staff member at the Wilbur Wright College in Chicago City Colleges. There he is. Moises Bernal Puentes. Moises Bernal Puentes. I played the tape where he was calling for people to assassinate ICE agents. So we'll see what happens with that. And I think we're going to be looking at people that have been naturalized, especially if it's been less than 10 years. We're going to be looking at them being stripped of their citizenship and shipped the hell out of here. I think that's where we're going to be looking at. This might be one of them right here. Zohran Mamdani. We didn't let him become a citizen, okay, to stir up this kind of garbage. New York Post put out, Mamdani says white neighborhoods should pay higher property taxes. The price is white. What do you think should happen to him? Oh, yeah, there's freedom of speech, but not if you're going to undermine the Constitution and enter this country taking a vow to support it. Kind of misspell touchy words, please. That's why I spell them out or say words funny. So when you put touchy words in that violate trust and safety guidelines, I see one comment I have to remove because violent language, it doesn't matter what your intention is. You just can't use words that are, that's why I say SHOT, okay? But I don't get as upset as I used to. Let's see what else Donald Trump had to say on Air Force One. Let's see. This is a short clip. Kind of hard to hear these, but I think this one comes out all right. Let me see.
Reaction to Israel strikes on Gaza today.
Well, we're going to have to see what's happening. We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with Hamas. And as you know, they've been quite rambunctious. They've been doing some shooting, and we think maybe the leadership isn't involved in that. You know, some rebels within. But either way, it's going to be handled properly. It's going to be handled toughly, but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, he's saying there are rebels in Hamas that is defying the leadership, and it will be handled properly. So that's what I was saying about the videos where it showed the bombings. It was because I believe that they were continuing to try to assassinate neighbors and families. And Trump warned them. Here we go. 38-year-old accountant Benjamin Michael Campbell, an accountant, arrested after allegedly opening fire on MAGA supporter over a Trump sign, according to the Daily Mail. He's accused of firing SHOTSs at a 62-year-old Mark Thomas in North Carolina. Here's the guy, an accountant. I guess that's his blushing bride. I don't know. They say there's a lid for every pot. I don't know. It ain't my lid and ain't my pot. I don't know. But anyway, I did get the video. At the beginning, you'll see him rip down. They're so damn arrogant. You know, and you have these officials pretty much giving them the green light to do this stuff by dehumanizing people, calling them NAZIs. But you see over in the, let's see, that's over on the right-hand side. He's walking up. You see him right at the peak of that roof. He's in a blue outfit. He's walking up to that Trump sign that's beside that bus. And you'll see him rip it down. And then watch the rest of the video. So we'll see what happens to him popping off rounds. You saw him. Definitely something should happen to him. Let's see what this one is. Oh, this is about the No Kings thing. Citizen Free Press said 7 million my patoot. Grok said, organizer claims of 7 million rely on self-reported small events without verification, but city-specific data paints a different picture. New York City, 100,000. Boston, 80 to 100. police estimates. D.C., 50,000. Seattle, 90,000. San Diego, 50,000. L.A., Atlanta, 20,000 combined. Aggregating verifiable reports from major hubs and local yields, 1 to 1.5 million nationwide, not 7 million. Hype exceeds reality as in past rallies. Independent analysis align closer to this, discounting unscrutinized totals. So in other words, they're full of you-know-what. Here's Donald Trump. Was this from yesterday? Let's see what he's got to say here. I'm not sure what this issue is about he's discussing. We shall see.
Even things the ambassador said about you in the past, the Australian ambassador?
I don't know anything.
Oh, I pause this because the ambassador to Australia. Now, Trump has been snubbing Anthony Albanese, and this dopey ambassador was saying smart aleck stuff about Donald Trump. And here a reporter asked him about it, and the ambassador's sitting there in front of Trump. When Trump responds, you'll like this.
Even things the ambassador said about you in the past, the Australian ambassador?
I don't know anything about him. I mean, if he said bad, then maybe he'll like to apologize. I really don't know. Did an ambassador say something bad about him? Don't tell me. I don't know. Where is he? Is he still working for you?
Yeah.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President.
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will. Go ahead.
I don't like you, and I probably never will. I thought for a minute he was going to say that line my friend used to say, I don't like you, and I don't want you liking me. Close enough for me, though. Hey, here's something to watch. Rudy Giuliani put this up. Rudy Giuliani. Washington. The Justice Department on Thursday filed foreign bribery charges. Repeat, foreign bribery charges against Smartmatic, the voting technology company that is suing Fox News and other prominent pro-Trump figures for defamation over their promotion of 2020 election lies. Keep in mind, folks, this is CNN Business is reporting this. The bribery and money laundering charges against Smartmatic arose from an existing case filed last year. An existing case. That's why Rudy Giuliani's putting this up. Filed last year against some of its current and former executives, including its founder. The indictment relates to an alleged $1 million bribe paid to the top election official in the Philippines to secure lucrative contracts for that country's 2016 election. The indictment doesn't include any allegations of voter fraud or election rigging against Smartmatic. And I would add to that, yet. The news could be catastrophic for Smartmatic, potentially weakening its hand in pending 2020 election-related defamation lawsuits against Fox News. The Fox News host turned U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, ex-Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani, and MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell. So let's see what props and pops out of that. Now, here, let's see Posobiec. What's he got going on? Breaking. New Jersey GOP urges DOJ Civil Rights Division to oversee Passaic County mail-in ballot counting. Passaic County has a long and sordid history of VBM fraud, with multiple indictments for ballot stuffing and falsifying VBM ballots in recent elections. So the DOJ Civil Rights Division, Department of Justice, is going to try to oversee this county, which is notorious for cheating. What do you think would happen if they resist the Department of Justice? I'm asking the chats. What do you think would happen if they resist and try to lock out the Department of Justice or stymie them through lawfare or double talk BS? What do you think is going to happen, folks? I'll tell you what's going to happen. See if anybody gets it in the chats. Why did Donald Trump win? Because why did he win at the Court of Appeals? Because he's allowed to use the National Guard so he can faithfully execute the laws of the United States. So the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division may have a little bit of National Guard backup. Just like I was saying, they would be assisting to help make sure everything is according to Hoyle. He'd call in the guard, and they'll stand guard over ballots. They'll make sure no poll workers get beat up or thrown out. Texas Representative Tony Gonzalez may have been in an affair with an aide who died after setting herself on fire. Are you sure she set herself on fire? The aide, identified as 35-year-old Regina Aviles, allegedly set herself on fire outside her home in Uvalde, Texas. Man, reminds me of Scarborough. Scarborough's intern. Just something to keep in. Why would you set yourself on fire? Very odd. What's this? What is this? Oh, this is another big bust. Kim Katie, USA, massive raid at a horse racing site in Wilder, Idaho. Dozens of illegal aliens were detained, even though many tried to escape. DHS had the entire ranch surrounded, capturing in the fields, porta potties. There's another porta potty arrest. One way or another, they're going to get you. Self-deport now. So they were having a big event. They set up porta potties for the crowds, and they're going to have racing and betting and everybody. Next thing you know, the whole damn ranch is surrounded. Where do you hide? Oh, the porta potty. Well, they're on to that. They're on to the porta potty. What did Tim Pool put up? This is about that accountant. And I'm glad. You might as well say this one is getting national headlines too. Accountant arrested in North Carolina for opening fire on MAGA supporter who had a Trump sign in the yard. That got 50,000 views in 1 hour. Well, put it out there what they are. They're dangerous and they're violent. Here's a guy. I'll put his picture up, but hope he doesn't get doxxed. But I got this picture off of Mark Dice's stream. where this guy went to a No Kings rally saying deport gay retards. And he has a picture of Trump on his shirt saying, you missed with the B word. So he was making the anti-Trumpers very angry, but he's kind of a burly guy. I guess he could take care of himself. But I got a video here. Let me see. Where a burly guy was getting harassed by No Kings protesters. Racist No King protester in Portland insults black MAGA supporter. So this guy, this black MAGA supporter, he's wearing a wrap around his face that says Trump on it. He's not showing his face. And he's, a pretty big guy. But this guy is berating him, telling him how he should act because he's black. He thinks he has the right to tell this guy and insult him. But you'll hear the guys like, yeah, I'm covering my face and everything. I'm walking by myself, and there's it's a big, nasty crowd. But at least I'm showing up and representing.
My God!
Wait, what'd you say?
What'd you say? Black and MAGA.
I can't be black and MAGA?
Worse.
I can't be black and MAGA.
You can't sweat skin because there'll be a lot of blacks who are rolling with the Republicans.
So I can't be black and MAGA.
Oh, you can be black and MAGA. You're a fucking sellout.
Oh.
You're a sellout.
How am I a sellout?
You're a piece of shit.
I can't have my own opinion.
Absolute.
I can't have my own opinion.
You are really... It's worse. You would expect that shit from me being white, but you hate yourself so much.
Oh my!
You have so much self-hate that it's sad. Hopefully you'll come around to that.
You said shame on him?
Shame on him.
Really? Why do you feel the need to lecture him as a black man? I mean, you're telling him.
Right. You fucking hate your own skin color.
How?
Do you think that Trump people like you? A lot of them. Oh, they hate you. They're using you. You exist. People like you.
Are you using your white privilege to try to lecture a black man? Is that what's going on right now? Oh, is that what's going on?
I use my
white privilege to lecture a black man, a colored man?
I use my white privilege to help other people.
But lecturing a black man, that's an opinion, right? That's an opinion, right? So lecture.
Bro, but kind of true.
What do you mean chill? He walked up to him and then scolded him for being black. How is that not what happened? Okay, he's saying shame on him because he's black and wearing a MAGA hat. That's why he came up to him. That's not what happened? Okay. It was crazy. You walked through the crowd at the waterfront. Yeah, so I was trying to find the pro-MAGA crowd because, to show support with them and stand with them. And I got caught up in the anti-crowd, and I was walking through them. It was very interesting. A lot of dirty looks, a lot of negative comments. But other than that, I didn't engage in any, shit talking. I just kept going, kept walking because, I'm outnumbered. There's only hundreds of people in the crowd. I'm by myself. This black man, that's dark skin, with the MAGA hat, with the Trump bandana, and with a Trump 2024 shirt. So you best believe that when I was in that crowd, I just, just minding my own business and just kept walking. But other than that, I'm in support of Donald Trump. God bless our president. God bless our ICE officers, and God bless America. And to all the patriots that are watching this, God bless you, and let's make this country great again, man. You're the man.
Yeah, he got caught out there by accident, and he's got hundreds of people that are whack jobs. But that guy, he was acting like, you'd think he was a day drinker, brother. He looked kind of about half drunk when he's lecturing that guy. Hey, we got another one. We got another one. I had this video and I didn't play it because I was kind of puked out. I had this video day before yesterday. This guy right here. It's well, I'll play it.
When y'all's bodies lay motionless on the ground, ice patch facing up at the sky, we're gonna loot your corpses. And I can't wait to see those videos.
Yeah, that's one of many videos he did. And I didn't play it because, one, it was brief, and it's grotesque. Well, what happened today? Looks to me like the same guy. Inmate detail, Stanton Andrew Warren. There he is. Demographic information. You got his, I guess, prisoner number, 38. Kenosha, Wisconsin. He kept putting out videos talking about wiping out ICE agents. In the one I just played, he was saying we're going to loot your body. Well, you know. So they actually arrested this guy. Then we got this meme here. When all the protests are over and you have to go home alone to your cats. Yeah, the pink cat. I mean, this is one of those memes from how many protests ago? Just the same old tired garbage, exaggerated numbers. But the difference is they're showing how violent they are. How nasty and violent. Yeah, they're disgusting. Misdemeanor sues? They certainly are. Let me see here. Oh, this is that one from Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine, when I couldn't find it earlier, talking about the one that Trump said should be thrown in jail, who's running for attorney general in Virginia. It'd be interesting to see how that pans out. And you can believe that Virginia is being looked at with a microscope as far as voting integrity.
Do you think Jay Jones should drop out of the race in Virginia?
You know, Jay has apologized. The statements that he made were indefensible, but I've known Jay Jones for 25 years. I think those statements were not in character, and he has apologized. I wish other people in public life would sincerely apologize for stuff. So, no, I still am a supporter.
Senator, are you worried that the controversy will impact other Democrats on the ballot in Virginia?
I think it's a significant challenge for Jay, and I think he's got to explain it in ways that Virginia can see who he really is, but I don't think it's going to affect others.
So he still supports him. All he had to do was say he was sorry. Well, how about that guy just had on the screen? How about if he just says he's sorry? Let him go. Here's what was being put out. Sky News Australia. Embarrassing. Bizarre No Kings protests make fools of themselves in marches. You know, about a week ago, maybe more, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about this one woman I had been watching for weeks. She was in a frog costume. And before that, she was in a little spaceman costume. For weeks, she was the only one in one of these stuffed outfits. Kind of like what you see them dressing up in Disneyland, right? So, next thing you know, these things start popping up all over the place. They're putting on these outfits. What are they trying to... Here's 11 Live. Many inflatables, pigs, bears, and more seen at Atlanta's No King protests. What is it supposed to mean? I don't know. But what message? What's their message? They're just hopping around in blow-up outfits because they don't have a message, I guess. But I remember how it started. It was this one woman in a Pepe the Frog outfit. It was funny looking. And they ended up unzipping her back opening there and spraying tear gas in there. But anyway, and then also Nate Friedman put out, paid protesters. I crashed a No Kings paid protester meeting. So I really hope that all this stuff is helping them zero in on the follow the money part, you know? What's this one? Dems mocked after raging at anti-Trump No Kings protests. And, you know, it's funny because the next video below that if somebody's got a concealed carry license, do you think the chances are that they're conservative or Democrat? Their chances are 9 times out of 10, somebody with a concealed carry license is conservative, right? I don't think I'm off by much. Say 75%. Well, look what they're doing in Chicago. Black gun owners in Chicago charged with felonies despite having valid concealed carry licenses. They claim they got problems with their computer, or they punched a number in, they move one digit, and it's, oh, I made a mistake. And they arrest the person, keep them in jail for 24 hours or however long it is, because they know they're conservative. I'd like for that story to get around. I mean, you know, a lot of people are waking up to the fact that they're getting used. Their votes are just getting used. What's this one? Oh. Birmingham, Alabama. They're talking about these rallies. Look at this woman. What, a Peter Pan outfit? What the hell? What point are you trying to make? But anyway, when the Birmingham, Alabama march is packed, you know something is up in America. Packed? Andrew Branca put this up, and he put a note with it that said, Birmingham, Alabama is close to 70% black people. What do you see in this picture? A bunch of old whiteys. There isn't a black person there. They went to Birmingham, Alabama, and couldn't get a picture of one black person in their photograph. And it's a sparse crowd. They're telling themselves that they have these huge crowds. Here's the video they were doing on the day. In where? Birmingham, Alabama. 33 seconds. 190 views. This is one of those channels I suspect could be where they get paid to put up videos. Experimental institution, 190 views in a whole day. Here in Birmingham, oh yeah, it's really packed, isn't it? Look at all those people. A 70% black community. They got one. I see one girl there. But they're in squat there. 7 million people. And how about an interview with Peter Pan there? How much you want to bet they would come up with a Charlie Kirk joke or wish Trump would have a stroke? Or I mean, these people are flipping nasty. And she's mad about Russell Vought and Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller's a snake, according to her. Weirdos. I'll show you something else that's funny. Carolyn Levitt, she's stuck on this, your mother, your mom. Here's a reporter from Huffington Post texted Carolyn Levitt. Is the president aware of the significance of Budapest? In 1994, Russia promised in Budapest not to invade Ukraine if it gave up its nuclear weapons it inherited when the Soviet Union dissolved. Does he not see why Ukraine might object to that site? Who suggested Budapest? Thanks. Carolyn Levitt said, your mama did. Ha ha! Is this funny to you? It's funny to me that you actually consider yourself a journo. You are a far-left hack who nobody takes seriously, including your colleagues in the media. They just don't tell you that to your face. Stop texting me with your disingenuous, biased, and bullshit questions. Well, listen, you twit. In Budapest, the Soviet Union didn't have to let Ukraine be self-governing. Okay? And they didn't inherit nuclear weapons. The Soviet Union was in the process of dissolving. And they said, well, we'll let you govern yourself, but you can't have these nuclear weapons. They didn't say, oh, give us our nuclear weapons and we'll never go to war or invade you or have a problem. No. Ukraine pulled enough of its stunts attacking Donbass and promoting Nazism, okay? And they pushed it too far. So anyway, it's a stupid question. That's not, they didn't inherit anything. They had to give it up. And it was, the guarantee wasn't that they could do whatever the hell they wanted and never get smacked upside the head. Oh, here's a narrative shaping notification I got. Beep. Oh, big story. Got to read this story. What's the story? ICE is hiring dozens of health workers as lawsuits and deaths in custody mount. The Trump administration is expanding its ranks of healthcare providers who work in immigration detention centers. Well, that's because we're doing a historic number of people. We're getting the hell out of the country. So that means you need more nurses and people when you've got more people in custody and in transit. But no, they're acting like, well, they got to hire more health people because ICE is abusing them. Listen, they got doctors, they got dentists, they got ear, nose, and throat, foot doctors in Caracas or Guatemala or wherever the hell they got to go. We don't need to provide it for them just till we get them the hell out of the country. But that's what this shutdown is all about. Whether or not we're going to give that stuff free to anybody who comes across the damn border. Let's see what this story is here. Midas Trash. Let's see what Midas Trash is talking about. We're not going to, somebody named Brandy, we're not going to be getting SNAP, aka food stamps, starting next month. Free newsletter. Well, Oregon notifies over 750,000 SNAP recipients of no November food benefits if government shutdown continues. You know, I don't want anybody to go hungry. I don't want anybody to go hungry. That's a terrible thing. They act like we want people to go hungry. That's not true. We just want somebody else to feed them that's supposed to feed them. But do you think Donald Trump might pull a rabbit out of his hat come November 1st and take care of American citizens who need assistance with food? But since we're talking about Oregon, crying poor mouth, they're crying poor mouth, right? And Midas Touch Trash Network is taking advantage of the SNAP stuff. Well, let's take a look at Oregon real quick. Get a load of this.
Is reportedly spending more in its budget on health benefits for illegal migrants than it sets aside for state police. Oregon officials expect to allocate $1.5 billion in combined state and federal tax dollars on a program that offers health benefits to illegal migrants from 2025 to 2027. Now, during that very same period, they expect to spend $717 million on the Oregon State Police.
Well, there's your food stamps right there. And there's the numbers right there. $1.5 billion on health care for illegal immigrants. What did we talk about last night? The whole SNAP benefit program across the entire country is $100 billion a year. Remember that? I said, wow, that seems kind of low. $100 billion a year? Well, that translates to what, 8 or 9 billion a month? You don't think Trump can't come up with that out of tariffs and look like a hero and say, hey, I got to do everything myself. Here I am. I got to do everything. I got to handle the Middle East. I got to handle Israel. I got to handle Russia and Ukraine. I got to do this. I got to do that. No, and I got to take care of the military. I got to take care of the police. Now I got to feed everybody. Isn't that going to show the world how worthless Congress is and these politicians? And how a driven, hard-working man can make a difference, or woman. Maybe that'll wake some of these people that contribute to Midas Trash Bale Network. I don't know. Here's something weird that happened. Wait a minute. This is a plane. I don't know. I think it was just an accident. Let me see the story here. At Hong Kong Airport, a Boeing 747 veered off the runway and fell into the sea as a result of a collision with a ground service vehicle, which caused the emergency. Well, hopefully nobody lost their lives or anything, but I guess it's whopped into a truck or something. There's the emergency chute sticking out of the side of the plane. Could have been worse. That's Trump's fault because he fired air traffic controllers or some bullshit. I mean, stuff. I said stuff. Anyway, here's a quick quote from Trump on Air Force One. What do you have to say? It's only 9 seconds long. I forgot what it says. I hope he says something real smack upside the head, maybe.
I'm not a king. I work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is. I'm not a king at all.
Yeah, there you go. I work my ass off to make the country great. I'm not a king. So anyway, folks, it all comes down to how we're raising these kids. I mean, somebody raised all these people that are mocking Charlie Kirk and wishing that Trump is dead. Here's how you raise your kids. Don't you think it would be nice if little kids were learning how to play some instruments, have a close family, accept who they are, enjoy their lives? I want to thank Miss Minder Sue and Wayne and Mike and Bev for helping out this week with Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate it. I have a link in the description for anybody who wants to go help the channel out. Copy the link and then click it later on. Or I don't think you can go straight from YouTube, but your support is greatly appreciated, as this is a torrid channel here on YouTizzle. I do appreciate it. Thank you again. And what do I always say? I always say thank you for spending your precious time with me. I hope you enjoy this video of these young people who are being raised right. Much more enjoyable to be around than the ones who were beating a Trump pinata yesterday. Remember that, folks? So anyway, enjoy this video. You all have a great night. This is Mountain Man, over and out.